Greetings, my friends, and welcome to this prelude episode to the Ottoman Empire campaign. As you can probably tell from the thumbnail, and obviously being watching this now at the moment, my friends, the Ottoman Empire won the vote for the brand new Empire campaign by a long margin. It really did, my friends. It came out well out on top. As you can probably, I'll put on this on the screen right now the results of the sort of the top 10, I believe it is. I think Poland, or Poland, as I somehow my spelling went absolutely haywire there, and I put Poland instead of Poland. So I do apologise when you Polish viewers here for insulting your country, my friends, but that was unintentional. For some reason I had a really idiot moment and I completely misspelled Poland. I think there was France as well. 13 colonies came quite close, but the Ottoman Empire, by an absolute, a pretty large country mile there, won the vote. Well over 100 votes for it. So I'd like to thank everybody who voted, everybody who commented as well. The comments were absolutely fantastic. They really were really supportive comments. People saying, "Man, we voted Ottoman Empire because we wanted to see it be tested, because I know this empire really is a huge test. This campaign is a huge test as well." And also a lot of you saying, wanting to sort of put your points forward as well of why you want the Ottoman Empire, why you wanted France, why you wanted 13 colonies, why you wanted Poland, etc. So whatever you voted for, thank you for taking the time to vote. Thank you for taking the time to comment as well. It's been absolutely fantastic to read all your comments. I've tried to reply to every single one as best I can as well. If I've missed any of you, I do apologise, my friends. But again, as you can probably tell now, we are going to be taking part in the Ottoman Empire. Now, this is not going to be an episode where we do anything at all. Now, the reason I'm doing this sort of prelude episode or an introduction episode is because I want this to be a different sort of campaign, as it were, from the start. This is going to be where we're going to look at what we've got, and I want to draw on the Council's experience here. I want you, my friends, if possible, to please, in the comments, once we've gone through what we've got, what's available to us militarily, economically, what our diplomatic options are, we're going to have a look, a really good in-depth of what we've got here. I'm really asking for your help on this, my friends, because it's going to be a really difficult campaign, this, and I really want us to get off to a real flying start here. Best foot forward, go absolutely all in on this, and do the best we can, because it's an incredibly difficult campaign. But if we really get off to that start, if we really plan this absolutely perfectly here, there's a good chance that we actually will do very well here from the start, because the Ottomans are not best equipped at the start to really sort of match the Western Empire, the Western nations, which are, and also Russia is, but the Western nations really are the sort of the nations you have to keep an eye on. But we're going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb. We're going to have a look at every region. We're going to look at what's available to us, what isn't available to us. I'm asking for the Council's help here. I need the Council's help, because we've got some wonderful commanders here, battle-hardened commanders, incredibly experienced, intelligent commanders as well, who really have been absolutely in the thick of the action all the way through all our campaigns. Many of the commanders have already faced their own Ottoman Empire campaign. Even if you haven't, even if you've never touched the Ottoman Empire campaign, please, my friends, get your comments down below. Let me know what you would do if you were going to start based on what we're going to see now. Let me know what you would do in these circumstances. Even if you've never played Empire Total War, you just sort of come across this and you just sort of spot this. Let me know what you would do if you're going to play this, and if you're going to take part in this campaign. Let me know what you would do, my friends, because it really is absolutely crucial here. We get off to an absolute perfect start. So there won't be any movement in this. We will do absolutely nothing. This is purely a reconnaissance episode. So this is not episode 1. This is just a prelude, an introduction, a reconnaissance episode where we're going to gather the intelligence we can here, see where we stand, see what we got, what we haven't got, where we need to do, where we need to really sort of take some action to really boost the empire as best we can here. Let me know how you fought your campaigns, if you have fought this campaign, so we can draw on it. I'll be paying a lot of attention. I'll be reading every single comment, trying to reply to every comment I possibly can as well. So again, my friends, I'm going to be calling on the military council, on the council as it were, once again, for your wonderful knowledge and your real wonderful help that has been through all the campaigns. But this one will test us, my friends. This one will test us very much. It really will. But if we can do it, if we can really do this, I think that the Council will absolutely come up trumps here. It really will. So to start with, as you can see here, we do have a vast territorial empire here. It does look on paper to be very powerful in terms of the amount of regions we have, the amount of territory that's available to us, and potentially also what might be available to us. So what do we got? We've got most of Yugoslavia under our control here. Croatia is not, as you can see, that's Austria. We do have Bosnia, Serbia, who are at the front line, as it were. They're at the front line. These are probably the tide mark, the sort of upper tide mark of where our Western campaigns have brought us. So this is sort of our line in the sand, as it were, of where our sort of furthest advance into Western territories and Western nations has been Bosnia and Yugoslavia. So we can control the majority of Yugoslavia. We also have here Moldova here, so we're moving into Eastern Europe here, and you can see as this sort of dagger, this Damocles sword hanging over us here is Klausenberg, Transylvania, again owned, controlled by the Austrians. Now, as you might probably have guessed here, if the Austrians have come to us, they've already got a way they can punch through here, through the mountains here, through the Carpathian Mountains here, and into Moldova. We've also got the Poles, as you can see here, who do contain control, dare I say, Galicia and Podolia. We've also got here the Russians, who we are at war with, just an absolute stone throw away. We're allied with the Crimean Khanate. So that again could be a sort of benefit to us. We've got, as you can see, we've got a trade deal with the Crimean Khanate, but we'll look at that a bit more in more depth later. As you can see, we've got the Russians, who really do absolutely loathe the Ottoman Empire. And so you can see this is our sort of front line here. As I read in one of the some of the comments that were in the voting guide, as one of the sort of generals once said, during his particular campaign, he used these particular lands here as a meat shield, sort of absorb, to buy space, to buy time, to sort of try and hold up the enemy as long as you possibly could. We got this fort here, Fort Hundora here, which is absolute, just a stone's throw away from Transylvania itself. So as you can see, we're quite close to potential enemies or even potential allies, depending on how we play this. And of course, we then move down to the absolute beating heart here of the Ottoman Empire, Istanbul, or as you can see, Romania, or Constantinople, as many of you like to be called. So again, as you can see, it's a walled city, a very, very, very important centre for us, both military and economically. Everything sort of spirals and trades and moves through Istanbul, particularly here to the sort of the south of Istanbul here, pushing down here from Ankara. As you can see, a lot of trade coming from the ports, a lot of trade moving through the trade lines here. But again, we'll look at that in more detail. We've of course got Athens and Greece here, which can and does have the potential to be a huge production centre for us, and both militarily and economically as well, producing guns, munitions, recruiting vast amounts of troops as well is going to be needed. As you can see, we've also got a lot of expansion options here as well, a lot of abilities here to be look at that already. Iron workshops, we've got here again, we've got the Turkish bath, we've got this town here, the governor's residence here in Bosnia can be upgraded, we've got mines that can possibly be upgraded. Again, we'll look at that in a little bit more detail later. So then we move down then from Istanbul, if you follow sort of the road south as it were, down to Ankara and Anatolia. Again, another potential huge city for us here, which can be developed over time. As you can see here, we do have a fair amount of losses. Look at the losses here, down 935 gold, down 2010 gold. I mean, the regional wealth is absolutely collapsing in on itself. It really is in a bad state here. As you can see, a lot of these regions, pretty much all the regions, are losing money. They're hemorrhaging money here by a massive amount. So we've got to try and potentially fix that as best we can here as well. Look at that, down 1,330 here from Greece. As you can see here, the sort of the red arrow pushing downwards means the regional wealth is actually, in a loss. We're actually in the black here, the red in the moment. Then you saw, look at the expansion options we've got here. A craft workshop, iron workshop here. We've also got here potentially a madrasa, which is going to bring the population under control as well. We've also again got here carpet weaver's cottage. We've got ports that can be and fisheries that can be sort of upgraded here and here as well. Look at this, we've got two massive, we've got Damascus and Syria of course, and Jerusalem and Palestine. Massive cities here, three cities, sort of this triumvirate here of cities with Cairo, Jerusalem and Palestine, Damascus, I beg your pardon here. These are absolutely could be crucial to our sort of Middle Eastern sort of holdings here. We've then got Baghdad here, right, sort of quite a long way from any sort of our major towns and cities here. It's pretty much here by itself, almost self-sustaining, as it were, because of the sheer magnitude of the depth. I mean, that is thousands of miles between Damascus here and Baghdad. That is a huge distance to travel. It really, really is. And again, we've got some wonderful upgrading options. We'll look at those a bit closer later. We've also got here Armenia, as you can see, again moving almost into the Urals here, pushing towards the Urals here in sort of the Russian territory. Again, we've got Georgia here. We've also got Dagestan here. We've also got Persian here to our sort of our east here. Georgia to the north, Dagestan sort of northeast in the corner here. Of course, we've got our great foe, our nemesis here, the Russians, only across this mountain range here of Chechnya. Now, again, the possibility for diplomatic relations is probably vital along these borders here, but again, it's going to be up to the council to decide what we do with that. And then, of course, we move into a very Basra here, which is a very, very important port. As you can see, we've also got here, as you can probably see, we've got peace and also trade with the Mughal Empire, a vitally important trading partner. It really is that we do try and bring in many of our Middle Eastern partners into this campaign, both economically and militarily, if we can. We're trying to keep good relations with them. And of course, we've got Egypt here, Cairo again, the Nile sort of splitting off into the Mediterranean. And then we've also got here, my friends, to our sort of our west here is Barbary states who we're allied with now. Let's start with the diplomacy here first. Let's have a look at the diplomatic, because the Barbary states plays a huge role diplomatically for us in terms of our status with them and their status with the outside world, with the greater world, as it were. Now, as many of you know, we are a protectorate. Let's have a quick look here, the Barbary states. Now, Barbary states here, I see we're very friendly. We're actually a protectorate of them, and we also trade with them. We're the only nation that protects them and trades with them. And everybody else, every single other nation in the world is at war with them. So you can imagine where that puts us diplomatically on the sort of global scale. Geopolitically, it puts us at a disadvantage immediately. We are basically state-sponsored pirates. That's what exactly Barbary states are. They are just state-sponsored pirates. And that puts us at a huge disadvantage diplomatically, because straight away the rest of the world knows that we are sort of protecting and sponsoring the Barbary states. Now, there's two ways we can go. We can either keep the Barbary states as allies and keep them as protectorates and sort of use them as a sort of how can I say, a privateer force, an extension of the empire of the Ottoman Empire, as it were, doing the dirty work for us, but not us actually getting our hands dirty. There's also another potential where we could actually cut ties with the Barbary states altogether, cut the protectorate with them, cut the alliance with them, and only trade with them, or even cut the trade agreement with them. I mean, just absolutely cut them adrift completely, and just wash our hands with them and say we don't any more of your shenanigans, as it were. Now that might bring then the diplomatic bonuses we need, the diplomatic change in status we might need, especially with the big powers of Spain, France, especially in the sort of in the Atlantic there, where the Barbary states do most of their dirty work, as it were, and also in the Mediterranean as well. So again, it would definitely bring in the Spanish on our side. It would definitely change the relationship with France and also Britain as well, which I know does deal with the Barbary states quite fiercely when they cross paths. So again, that might help us if we do that. But again, the Council's help will be invaluable in what we do with that particular instance here with the Barbary states, because that's going to be a crucial diplomatic tool. What we do with the Barbary states might have long-lasting effects on us. It really might. So we have to be very careful what we do. We don't want to turn one's ally an enemy. We've got to fight them off and keep them here hemmed in. We also don't want to be able to be dragged down into sort of diplomatic mire, because and I get pulled into this sort of morass where they start a war, and our diplomacy will never sort of be able to really sort of recover from having the Barbary states on our side, as it were. So again, diplomatically, what does the Council suggest about the Barbary states? What do we do with that? Do we get rid of them? Do we sort of just cut our ties with them as a protectorate and allies and just keep trading with them, or do we cut our hands and cut them completely away from the Ottoman Empire and say thank you very much, we're not interested anymore? Trying to look at the bigger picture, as it were. So let's have a look at our diplomatic status here with the major nations. Now, as you can see, they are, let's just say, they're not on the best terms with us. So Austria is hostile. Historical grievances, national leaders not respected. Same government type as plus 50, but they are potentially very, very strong candidates for going to war with us very, very soon. So we can, though, trade with them. There's a possibility to trade with them. So again, we have to keep an eye on Austria. France is indifferent to us. It's minus 20. But again, I think the national leader is not respected because we are in sort of, the Barbary States is that sort of, that sort of ball, that chain and ball around our sort of ankle, as it were, dragging us down with them. So we can trade with France. That would be a huge, huge trade partner. It really, really would. Great Britain, again, unfriendly. So again, we've got to watch out for Great Britain here because they can turn very, very quickly, especially if they want to get something, they'll get it from you. Again, we can trade with them. Maratha Confederacy, again, indifferent, minus 20, because, again, national leaders not respected. I think because our leader sort of supports the Barbary States. Mughal Empire were indifferent with us, but again, we're already traded with them, so trade is actually going to give, same religion is plus 30, trade agreement is plus 15, so it sort of balances itself out almost. Poland, not friendly at all, again, probably because of the Barbary States, so again, that's going to drag us down. We also have, as you can see here, again, my friends, Portugal. We can't trade with Portugal, but again, they're indifferent to us. Prussia, the same. We can trade with Prussia, though. Again, but they're indifferent. Russia is hostile. We're at war with Russia, of course. Sweden is friendly. Historical friendship. So again, that's good for us. But that's the only, if you can notice, this is the only nation of the major nations that is friendly with us, or even close to having any sort of friendship with us at all. We can't trade with them. 13 colonies are unfriendly. Probably because Britain is the same, so they've pretty much followed the same diplomatic stance as Britain, as you can see here. United Provinces are indifferent, again, I think because of the Barbary States. So as you can see, you get a good look here. Every single nation apart from Sweden is either completely indifferent to us, they don't really care what happens to us one way or another, or they're sort of going towards that sort of hostile, starting a war with us to try and claim what they can from us stance. So we've got to be very careful here what we do next. And again, Barbary States very friendly, of course. Absolute monarchy, protectorate. So again, we also protectorate here of the Crimean Khanate, and that brings complications with Russia, but we'll go into that in a moment. So Bavaria, again, everyone's indifferent to us all the way here. Bavaria, Cherokee, Courland, again, we can't trade with them. We can trade with Denmark, but they're unfriendly, again, for the same reason we've just outlined numerous times. Genoa is indifferent again, but we're trading with them. Georgia is hostile, so we've got to be very careful. Remember, Georgia on the border here. So here is Georgia, for those who just need to, to realise where Georgia is. That's Georgia. They are hostile with us. So again, there's a very, very strong chance. Minus 105 is a very strong chance we'll be at war with them, unless we can get trade, unless we can do something to sort of tip things in our favour. All indifferent here. Hanover, Hurons, the Inuits, Iroquois. Italian states hostile, we can trade with them. Louisiana, again, indifferent. It's nice to St. John hostile towards us. So again, we're bordering on war with these as well. Louisiana indifferent. Morocco is unfriendly, again, just on our doorstep, as it were. New Spain unfriendly, but we can trade with them. If we can get trade with New Spain, that'd be fantastic. Persia is unfriendly, which can bring its own complications again. If we can turn that around, that'd be fantastic. Plains nations, Pueblo nations, Savoy, all indifferent to us. Unfriendly Saxony. Venice is hostile, so we got to trade with them, but they're hostile. My word, they don't like us at all. So that's another potential conflict. And Westphalian, Württemberg, again, indifferent. We can't trade with them. So it's a lot of options in terms of trade, but a lot of options of what we've got to do to repair potential flashpoints in terms of diplomatic status. Now, as our diplomatic status is so tied in with the leadership, let's have a quick look here, my friends, at what we've got in terms of ministers. Now, as you can see here, unfortunately, the Sultan is not the best Sultan at all. Minus 10 to diplomatic relations is an absolute nightmare. Not only do we control and protect the Barbary States, we've also got a Sultan who, unfortunately, is not of the finest caliber, shall we say. Now, let's have a look at the family tree. We've got, that's his son, I believe, Mustafa, and probably he's going to be even worse. But we don't know, he's got 1 star at least. And he's got 2 stars, so his son is probably going to be worse, so that's going to pose a problem for us. Now, the head here again also adds 10, my goodness me, look at the head here. Luckily we've got absolute monarchy, so we can actually move ministers around, but look at this, minus 10 diplomatic relations, minus 4 per turn to town wealth in the home theatre. Diabolically bad. Grand Vizier here, the head. Treasury is just staggeringly bad. In other words, these gentlemen have got their hands in the till. These gentlemen are basically corrupt. They're taking money for their own ends, and they're not worrying about how the rest of the sort of the country fares. They are at the top of the tree, and they are basically taking the, shall we say, the cream from the top and leaving everybody else just to get on with it. -8 bonus to global tax income, -30 bonus to growth, and -16. That is a scandal. Look at this, tactician, frugal and thrifty, -2 to management, fingers in the privy purse. I told you, my friends, before even looking at him, he's got his fingers in the pie here. He really has got a number of fingers. He's basically stealing from the state to line his own pockets. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. There's nothing worse than a thief. There really isn't. So, fingers in the privy purse. He's basically looking after his own interests. So we are definitely going to be getting rid of this gentleman here if possible. Now again, we've got a number of selections here, so we're going to wait for the council to decide whom. Again, the head is going to have to be removed. No pun intended. We've got the treasury as well that's going to have to be definitely replaced. But look at the justice minister here, Adelia Naziri. Look at this. A wonderful, wonderful minister. +1 to repression, -3 to town cost of the town wealth, cost of town watch, +1 to maximum repression bonus from the town watch. Excellent minister. Definitely a candidate to stay potentially. Again, the council will decide. Then we've got here, I mean, look what the blazes is going on here. Vizier for the army, no bonuses whatsoever. Basically just a standard minister with nothing that really offer. But again, he might be the best of a bad bunch until we get additional cabinet different candidates coming in here. And again, for the Vizier of the Sea, basically the naval, the admiral as it were, the grand admiral, here again no bonuses at all. So you see the cabinet is not the best. So we've got a king who isn't brilliant. We've got 2 members of the cabinet who basically, well, one's an idiot, one's a thief. You know, let's not beat around the bush here. Let's not mince our words here. So our candidates are, and I do apologise for any pronouncing any of these names wrong. I'm probably going to absolutely make a terrible, you know, attempt at these names. So Abdurrahman Edhem here, and honest, +1 to management, and a tactician here. So he's perfectly a perfect candidate for the army here, or he's a perfect candidate for the treasury, because again he's +1 to management. So straight away the treasury is going to be a boost. But again, that will be your decision, my friends. So it's either this minister here, Abdurrahman Ebtem, can either be treasury or army, depending on what you decide. Then we've got Gritili Hakim here, Industrial Revolution, +1 to management for treasury. Now he could be absolutely ideal for the treasury, absolutely fit for purpose here for the treasury. He would boost it straight away. So again, we would get that absolutely perfect here. Then we've got Cesarili Alveni here. So he's pious, +1 to zeal, and also Jughead, +1 to happiness, lower classes, -1 nobility, +3 to clamour for reform. So he might be pretty good actually, possibly for justice, but justice is okay. He could be good for the head here, the Grand Vizier, because he's pious, but he also gives +1 to lower classes, which the lower classes are usually the class that gives the most problems in terms of either a rebellion, or you know, kicking the state where it hurts, basically. Then we've got Senazi Yahudi, pious again. So again, possibly he's young as well, so he's got a good head start on him. This gentleman is 42. Then we've got the last, Celebi Sadik, and he's morally impaired, so -1 to management, and he's an agrarian as well, +1 to management, +1 happiness, nobility. So he would really be an ideal candidate for any of them, to be honest with you. So he's probably possibly the least favoured candidate for any of these roles. But I would say probably this gentleman here possibly for the army, and either this gentleman here, Gertili Hakim, or even Cesarili Aveni, and also Senazi Yahudi. So these gentlemen here, these 4 gentlemen here, are ideal candidates to replace any number of these members of absolute monarchy. So we can move these candidates in and out at will. So we can always switch things around if things aren't working out. We can always move them in and out at will at any time we want, because we're an absolute monarchy, remember. So that's pretty much where we stand here with our ministers. And again, our policies here, we've got sort of average tax levels, income is only 1,213, which is absolutely diabolically bad for an empire of this size. It really should be huge. National summary, what have we got here? Tax income of 2,426, appalling, absolutely appalling. We've got trade income of 4,762, because now we're starting to look at the economy a little bit here now. Other, we got trade of other 3,374 is actually more than our tax income. Army upkeep of 4,170, Navy upkeep of 850, minus 850. So as you can see, that is a huge. So half of our income is already taken up here by an army upkeep. We haven't seen the army yet. We'll have a quick look at the army later on. But as you can see, the tax income is appalling. I mean, that is just so bad. It really, really is for an empire of this size. Our tax is pretty bad. Our trade income is even worse. And of course, as many of the council have already sort of recommended in the past, if we lower the tax levels, it'll actually increase growth, which is what we're looking for in the long term. It really will. It'll decrease our income, but our income will grow steadily, much, much better over time. Our trading partners are pretty good, actually. Mughals, Venice, Crimean Khanate, Barbary States, and Genoa as well, Genoa. So as you can see here, we're rich. We're a majestic prestige rank. We've got a huge population, absolutely massive population. Treasury is only 7,500, as you can see here, so not a massive amount of here of income, or a standing money, as it were. As you can see here, we've got a lot of cotton here from Europe. Supply. So we're being supplied by 52 bales of cotton from Europe. So we definitely want to keep and try and expand that if possible. That's the income. That's what Europe is sending us out. We're trading with Europe. But our exports, we're actually sending a lot of other goods here as well to the Mughal empires. Again, Mughal empire is by far our biggest trader. Then Venice is. Venice, Barbary States, then Crimean Khanate, and then Genoa as well. So again, we've got some good trading partners here, but if we can increase that, or even increase the exports, that would be absolutely wonderful. Again, it's only 15 gold for every bale of cotton, which is not massive, but it's still pretty high. Ivory, of course, is off the scale here. And we might want to try and rely also on getting some of the maybe some of the trade hubs under our belt, especially with wood for ivory. Spices are good as well, but actually cotton is not too bad at all. It's one of the highest you can get, apart from these two, which are always a dominant on the world market. Always the biggest income is from spices, and ivory is just off the chart there. It really is. But again, my friends, you've got a sort of a brief outline of where our economy stands at the moment. Again, where would you improve? What would you improve? What would you do to improve the economy? And again, if we have a look at how most of our time, let's start with Constantinople or Istanbul. As you can see here, infrastructure is still basic roads, and no cobble roads fixed at all. We are standing pretty much basic here. We do have the Sublime Port, and we've got a high port here which will take us right up to plus 18 bonus to regional tax income. We don't have, or School of Poetry would actually give us research points, plus 2 happiness lower classes, plus 2 happiness nobility, and also increase our wealth to the town region as well. And we don't have a Grand Admiralty, so we have nothing at all to do with the ships, especially research. Of course, we've got an ordnance factory here which gives us organ guns as well. What a wonderful sight here. Organ guns are an absolute monster in the field. They really were. Demi-cannons and 18-pounders as well. That is absolutely fantastic. And it is walls. Remember, we do have settlement fortifications. Look at the trade flowing in and out of here as well. Fantastic to see. Particularly here from Thessaloniki as well. So that is fantastic. Ottoman Empire, 3091. And many of the outlining sort of regions here, as you can see, the infrastructure is basic roads. All of them are basic roads, I believe. Yes, every single one is basic roads. So we've got, we've got Bosnia and Sarajevo here, basic roads. I believe Moldova is also basic road. Yes, indeed. So I don't think there's anything that's upgraded at all. As you can see, we are starting from a very, very low base. A very, very low base indeed. And particularly here, the roads are going to be absolutely vital here in the Middle East. Do we start here in the Middle East? Do we upgrade from sort of our hinterlands, our not backwater? That sounds quite harsh. No, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, in a bad way, but I mean in the regions that are sort of out of the way of any sort of possible conflict. That's what I mean by backwater. So Damascus and Syria and Egypt and that. Do we start building them at first, and sort of where we have the money sort of flowing outwards in and rippling outwards to the rest of the empire, or do we sort of start from Istanbul? So we've got the money and the troops potentially to hold against the sort of onslaught here. It's obviously going to come from the west, and particularly from Russia, unless we get trade a peace with Russia. And again, Athens, again, all cobble roads. Again, infrastructure is not going to be vast. We've got a huge amount of work to do in infrastructure-wise. I mean, almost overwhelmingly amount of infrastructure work we have to do here, and with the limited funds, that balance we've got to strike is going to be pretty hard to do. It really is, but we'll do it. We will do it, my friends. But again, the council's advice will be absolutely crucial here. So as you can see, we've got infrastructure-wise, we've got a lot of work to do. So, tell me where you think we should focus on building our infrastructure. Should we maybe build up an Ankara here, which is out of the way of most of potential enemies here? It would give us a chance to build up, and also maybe in Rumelia here, potentially we could build up all these regions here. And also in Greece, Athens has got a potential to be quite wealthy region as well. So let me know what you think. Should we sort of keep to the core of the empire, sort of Greece, Istanbul, Ankara, as our sort of main, the breadbasket of the empire, as it were, or do we expand outwards more of an infrastructure and building? As you can see, if we look at our trade, we've got Beirut here, which is bringing in 450. We've then got, of course, here we've got Piraeus here, which is again bringing in 762. We've also got Izmir, which is giving us 1,725, which is fantastic. And also we've got the Mughal Empire coming through here. Then we've also got Mughal Empire here, Venice and Genoa, coming from Thessaloniki. So we've got some very good trade ports. That is one thing that is in our favour, is a lot of trade ports, a lot of trade flowing outwards from the Mediterranean into our Mediterranean ports, flowing into the wider world as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Again, what do we upgrade first? Do we upgrade the mines? Do we upgrade the farms? Do we upgrade sort of the ironworks and the workshops? Do we upgrade those first? Again, every detail you can possibly think of, my friends, will be absolutely valuable to us. It really, really will. So let's have a look now at our military. Let's have a look at what the military is offering us. And the first thing to do is to look at what we've got available here in our sort of prime location, Istanbul, Constantinople. What will we be able to recruit from the barracks here? Because this is where most of our military is going to come from. So as you can see here, the standard of military is not by any stretch of the imagination the same as the Western sort of powers, not even in the same league. And that is something we have to admit to ourselves. We cannot just say we can go toe to toe with the Western empires in terms of line infantry, in terms of cavalry, in terms of cannon. Later down the road we will get some wonderful cannon, but as we stand now at the beginning, we don't have the troops to go toe to toe unless we use some very specific tactics to be able to do that. And as you can see here, we've got Falahin, which is basically swordsmen. They've got a good defense and a good charge bonus as well, good melee attack, which is 11, but again, these would be sort of almost thrown in to sort of try and just weaken the enemy before anything else. We do have here Israelis here, and they're going to give us actually 25, reloading of 20. Again, not the best soldiers, but they are the one major sort of closest we got to line infantry. Let's put it that way. Now, we've got here Delhi horsemen, who are absolutely fantastic. They really, really are. They can fire, and they can also got a good charge bonus. They are the backbone. If we can get them, remember, we need to get carbines to be able to get the Delhi horsemen. They would be the backbone of our sort of cavalry until we can upgrade even more. We also have here Zamindari pikemen. I mean, look at that, defense is 12. Charge bonus is absolutely atrocious. Melee attack is terrible. They're basically a defensive unit against cavalry. So, and they're quite expensive as 400 is quite expensive for that unit, particularly again. And we've got semi-janissaries. Now, janissaries will provide the backbone of most of the Ottoman forces. As you can see, defense is pretty good. Melee attack is very good indeed. So again, they're just a slightly, as you can see, professional soldiers. They've got better training than the Falahin here. And we've also got the Azars. Again, these are probably our finest sort of rifle troops, as it were. They're regular, poorly equipped, but they can be a very effective mobile mob. So basically, they can move and fire pretty well. They're not the best, but what we've got, they could be the best of the lot. And we've also got here Zamindari horsemen. Accuracy of 25, range is pretty poor, so basically got to get pretty close. But if they're used properly, and remember, I'm not the best cavalry commander, hold my hands up to that. But if used properly, they can do a fair amount of damage, particularly getting behind enemy lines, maybe taking out cannon, that type of thing, disrupting enemy formations and lines. That they would definitely be useful for us here. So you can see the starting recruitment ability is poor, to say the least. Now, this is probably the best I think we've got in any city. Yes, it is. We haven't even got a barracks here yet in Greece, and the same here for Ankara. So Istanbul would be it. So in that vein, let's have a look at what we can get with research. We will look at research. I do believe, let's have a look at the list here, the building browser. Do we have any schools? Anatolia. There it is. There it is there. So we've got a school here, Konya, in Ankara. Now we could move and change that. And add additional schools. If we did get some madrasas, we can potentially move some madrasas. I know we've got another madrasa here. Yes, a small madrasa here, which could be dismantled and put into as another school. But this is our main school here. We've also got here a scholar. But again, the potential for him to move out and actually steal technology from other nations could prove pivotal. But putting him into Konya, the school here, would actually be very, very, very important to us. So let's look at what research we can get eventually. Now, again, we've got plug bayonets. And again, look at that. Oh, Royal Cairo Infantry and African Infantry Guards. These would be an absolute boon for us. They really would. But we can't recruit them just yet. But carbines would actually give us... Oh, Mounted Nizam said it. Look at that. And Delhi Horsemen. But when can we get those, though? That's important. Which incarnation of drill school is it Military Academy before we can get them? Oh, my goodness me. Look at this. Oh, no, no, no. No, sir. You jet. Royal Mameluke Guards. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Calm, Mala. Calm. Do not lose your mind to seeing those troops. Now, we've got ring bayonets. That's going to give us +2 cost of entry. That's fine. But plus command. Now, what will ring bayonets give us? Just give us the military syllabus, which of course gives us drill school, which we do need. We've also got then... Well, we know what drill school. Drill school gives us... Oh my goodness me, please sir, look at this. Segban Janissaries. Segban Janissaries. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is a wonderful sight, it really is. And some, look at that. They must have pistols. And yes, indeed, a pistol. Wow, that is absolutely fantastic. What a one. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Look at that. These gentlemen are absolutely wonderful. These are some of the elite troops here. These are fantastic. The Janissary Musketeers are wonderful troops. Mamelukes again will become another backbone of our cavalry, along with the Delhi Horsemen here. Mamelukes are fantastic. 135 men in each regiment. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant cavalrymen. They really are. We've got also again the standard here as well. But these, oh look at that, Royal Mameluke Guards. That is an absolute joy to see, an absolute joy to see. Royals, in other words, they guard the royal family, or sort of maybe involved in the procession of the royal family here. Look at that. They will definitely, Royal Mameluke Guards will definitely be key to us here. We've also got Janissary Grenadiers, which are elite troops here. They are fantastic. The grenades are deadly, absolutely deadly. So that'll be a real huge bonus to us there. Then we move down to sort of new model bayonet drill. Then we've got reorganizer procurement, which opens up army visitariat and also gunnery school. But let's have a look at army visitariat here. What will that give us? Oh my word! Hand mortar boluk. Almost said that wrong then. No. Sikh musketeers. Oh my goodness me. The morale is 8. Oh no. Segban Janissary riflemen. 66 accuracy here. Oh my word, light infantry par excellence there. Hindu musketeers, which are wonderful fighters as well, very good. The Hindu warriors are good. I do enjoy using the Hindu warriors. Oh, Sepias, absolutely brutal. Look at that charge bonus. It is off the scale. Look at the defense, 18. The immediate attack is 14. They are wonderful shock troops. Standard line. Oh, Sikh warriors. Again, very good charge bonus here. As you can see, a lot of hand-to-hand fighters here. The Cairo Janissaries. Cairo Janissaries. Oh wow! Oh, look at that! Look at the sort of the metalled arm here, the armoured arm. Look at that, the forearm. That is fantastic. Janus bodyguard, of course. Oh my goodness me! What? Royal Janissary Infantry Guards? Oh wow! What do we need for those? Fire by rank. You get fire by rank, or we will be all over that. Mamluks, Nizam infantry, wonderful here. Nizam mounted there, that's where we get them here when we get the army visitariat. Or viserate. Oh, good grief. Libyan Kalugulu. Palestinian auxiliaries, not bad at all. African infantry guards there, excellent to see. Islamic swordsmen and Nizam light infantry here as well. But we do need European doctrinate for that. Or doctrine for that, so that's going to be here. There's the European doctrine for that. 36 turns, that is huge. Then we've got light infantry doctrine here, or doctrine here, which gives us African light infantry mercenaries. Not bad at all. Again, a useful troop for possibly garrisoning some forces. Then we've got platoon fire by rank, which gives us the Army Staff College. Machine rifling, which gives us a Nizam Sedit rifles, but then look at the Army Staff College. This is where the creme de la creme. Oh my goodness me! Circassian armored cavalry. Wow! Some wonderful, wonderful forces. It really is an absolute joy to see. Those Royal Mamluk Guards are fantastic. Sikh and Israeli Sikh musketeers as well. We do get some very, very nice units indeed here. Now we do have the AMU here, the additional units mod as well, or AUM, so that's why we're getting those additional ones. What forces we can get, what cannons we can get here. Of course, at the moment we can actually get to Great Arsenal here if we research explosive shells. So if we get explosive shells, we'll actually get 24 pounders. We've all got the organ gun, we've got the 18 pounders. Then we move down to gunnery school, which is again is going to give us 24 pounders foot artillery, and then 24 pounders, and you're still the organ gun. Then we got bombardment mortars, which are just massive. They really are for taking down forts and cities, and that they are par excellence. Military engineering school. Oh, my word, 64 pounder. That is a joy to see. It really. That is an app. Look at that. That is a monster. 1,000-yard range. Wow, the firepower might not be significant, but the range is incredible. It really, really is. And let's have a look at our available. We've got no naval research available, nothing at all. We need the Grand Admiralty will give us, of course, the research for these. Naval Board here will give us this. And we've got the Naval College. And last but not least is the Imperial Naval Engineers School. But what can we get out of these here? Dockyard. That's going to give us 5th rates and some 4th rates as well. We've got the dry dock, which is going to give us an additional 3rd rate ship of the line here as well. 2nd rate ship of the line, Admiral's 3rd rate. What else have we got here? A carronade frigate. Now this should give us a naval hospital here. What will the naval hospital give us? Of course, Admiral's flagship 1st rate. 1st rate ship of the line. Anything additional here? Go get some good bonuses here as well. Preserve foods. I believe that is it in terms of the naval hospital. So again, you can see there, my friends, what we can get. And of course, you've got the standard sort of fare here for agriculture, metal, and textile. And again, where do you think? Where should we focus? Military is probably going to be first, but if the council decides not, then we'll move our sort of our research technology elsewhere. But you know, after we've done military, where do we go? Agriculture, metal, textile. Do we go for philosophy here? We get empiricism, social contract. and Physocracy here again to increase our large, but we don't have any plantations yet. So again, as you can see here, my friends, we have got a huge amount of work to do here, and that is sort of an overview of what we should do. So I know it's been quite a while, I've been going quite a few things, but again, it's important that we sort of look at what we've got available, just what we haven't got available, is where we start, where we look at, what we do, you know, diplomacy, everything like that. So I'm going to end this sort of prelude here, this introduction to the Ottoman campaign. This is not the start of the Ottoman campaign. I'm just going to put this, I want to put this video out to collect as much information from the council, from the wonderful commanders we've got available in the council. Those of you who have been absolutely fantastic thus far. I know your advice is going to be absolutely crucial to us to succeed in this campaign. More than any other campaign, it really is going to be very important to us. What's going to happen next, my friends, is I'm going to put this video up and I'm going to leave it run, because the next series you're going to see up after this video is going to be the Knights of St. John. I'm going to probably have 3 or 4 episodes of that. After that Knights of St. John sort of series of videos ends, and then that's when the new Ottoman Empire campaign will start. Now that'll give me time to read and collate the information you've put down in the comments, to get the council's advice, you know, really sort of, you know, get it etched into my mind, and we can, you know, like we can see where we're going to go, how we're going to start. Because remember, this is going to be a very, very difficult campaign in terms of the start is going to be brutally hard. Probably we're playing on very hard. So, you know, whatever happens to us here is completely open here. So what we do here will probably define what happens for the rest of the campaign. That's why I wanted to put this video out at least a week before the new campaign comes out, to be able to get your tactics, your strategies, your plans, your information, your experiences. You know, remember, nobody ever, please never be shy, never hold back on what you want to say in the comments. Don't think, well, I'm not experienced enough, I can't put anything down. Every person, regardless of your experience of any of these campaigns, is your comments and suggestions and help plans will always be welcome here. This is a community that I want everybody to feel welcome in, and I want everybody to be able to express and say what they want, to be able to put their comments down, their plans down, regardless of your experience. You know, I know we've got a number of commanders who really are, and I mean this, brilliant campaigners. They have fought every campaign, beaten every campaign. They've been in the mud and blood of all the campaigns, you know, and you know, some of the campaigns, you know, a lot of you send me your summaries and of your campaigns, and they're just an absolute joy to read. They really are, and I can tell many of you are brilliant commanders. But there's also, on the other flip side of that, those who maybe have only just started Empire Total War, or who have never played at all, or have just sort of briefly played it only for a few hours or so. But your suggestions are equally as welcome here as those of the commanders who have battled, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of battles and many hours of campaigns. Believe me, my friends, everybody's welcome here, everyone. So that's where we're going to leave it, my friends. I'm going to leave it now. I'm going to open up the doors now, open up the books, as it were, to the council, and this is going to be your time, my friends, where I'm going to need your help here to be able to set us on a really strong front foot here, straight from the off. What we're going to do, our tactics, our diplomacy, our strategies, our economy, our infrastructure, our trade, everything is open for discussion here, my friends, between yourselves. You know, I know that many of the best ideas come from the sort of the conversation you have between the different council members. A lot of the things, I read every single comment, even if it's just one sentence or if it's 10 paragraphs. I read every single word and try and take in as much as I possibly can, because it helps. You might not see your plans taking shape now, but you will see them down the line, because eventually your plans come into fruition. Remember, things do change when we start the campaign. Plans sometimes can go out the window quite quickly, depending on what the enemy does, or what our friends do, or our allies do, or our enemies do. So again, things will change, but again, the council always manage to adapt. All of the campaigns are now, 99% of them are directed, are moulded and shaped by the council. A lot of them, many of you have just seen the Spanish campaign. The only reason the Spanish campaign is so successful thus far is because the council has made it so, and that is not a word of a lie, it really is. But my friends, I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to leave it in your capable hands now, where we go from here. I'd like to thank all of you for voting, all of you for your wonderful support. It's been absolutely fantastic. But in another week or so, after the Knights of St. John sort of series of campaign ends, or the series of videos ends, probably 3 or 4 there'll be in this particular series, the Ottoman Empire campaign will start, and then we hopefully, my friends, that will be a successful campaign as well. But until then, my friends, whatever you're doing, please be safe. Hope you're having a great week thus far. I hope you have a good weekend, because I'm recording this on a Friday. So whatever you do, my friends, and now I open up the doors to you, my friends, and your wonderful advice. But until then, my friends, bye for now.